Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. Now to the stories you sent to our eyewitness portal. We begin with this picture of Atakumosa main market in Ilesha. According to our eyewitness reporter, when the market caught fire on the 9th of August 2015, there was no functional fire truck in that community. Residents are now asking the government to provide them with necessary social amenities. Next is this picture of a messy street, which our reporter says is at the Okorodudu junction off Efurun Sapele Road, Warri, Delta State. The people of the area complain that it is ruining their health and are calling on authorities to help sanitize the area. From Delta, we now move to Calabar, from where we got this picture of tankers causing a traffic jam. Our reporter says the Murtala Mohammed dual carriageway in Calabar has become a parking space for tanker drivers, creating a market for the sale of leftover fuel, which in turn encourages accidental explosions. And from Kano, we have this picture of a gullied Kwawachi Bridge, Zungeru Road, that our eyewitness reporter says claimed a life when a vehicle veered off the bridge. Residents of the area want the authorities to take action to prevent a recurrence of such incidents. Now, for more on the flood alert, we do join our Abuja studio, where Gloria Umezioke is standing by. Hello, Gloria.
Anthony, Director General of NIMET. You're welcome to News at 10.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's take a clearer look at the likely weather conditions in the country. I mean, earlier we heard several alerts, warnings for certain states about the likelihood of flooding. Even more recently, the Lagdo Dam release. Tell us more about this.
Thank you so much. Earlier in the year, we released the seasonal rainfall prediction for the whole country, showing that some parts will experience, especially in the northeast around Adamawa, above normal. And just last month, in June, on June 24th, the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency also released their flood alert. So indeed, there were warnings that there might be flooding. Then talking about the Lagdo Dam, at the moment, the areas around the Benue River, from our own monitoring, still have, the soil is not yet saturated. But if indeed the Lagdo Dam is opened, what is likely to happen is that the water flowing downstream would saturate the soil around that area. And once the soil is saturated with water, with moisture, even moderate rainfall could cause some flooding.
And even the houses.
Yeah, of course, when there is flooding, the consequences. Farmlands could be washed away. Lives could be lost if adequate precautions are not taken. Houses could be submerged. But these are all statements of probability. There are ifs, if this happens, then that.
So when is the bad weather going to begin? How long will this last exactly?
I don't know what you mean by bad weather, but in this context, I believe you mean the rainfall. For the northeast and parts of the most parts of the north, the rainy season gets to its peak about August, middle to late August. So if that happens, it could drag into September, coupled with the Lagdo Dam. There could be some cause for concern. But what is important is that when we give these warnings, the use is for us to do what we should do, take precautions, that's all. As I often say, if there is early warning, the early warning must be matched with prompt and early action.
What sort of precautions are you talking about? Because some states like Lagos, Kogi, Anambra and Delta were equally affected last year by the floods.
Yes, precautions, some of them are very simple things. Clear the gutters around you. For people living in low-lying areas, there could be adequate arrangement just in case there's emergency to get them quickly evacuated and provide alternative places for them to stay until the floods recede. So there's a whole lot of things that could be done by individuals, like clearing of your environment, local governments, state governments. and of course the federal agencies in some cases. NEMA, for instance, is always at alert to do what they should do. We collaborate with NEMA. Now, we in NIMET, we are watching the situation very closely. We have developed a capability we know as numeric weather prediction. Using this, we can model what is likely to happen in 5 days' time, in 3 days' time, and so on. So if we release this early warning, what we expect is that individuals, NGOs, local governments should do what they should do, and that is take precaution.
So how much rain really constitutes heavy flooding, to that point of being dangerous?
There is no specific amount that we say it's dangerous, but it depends on the situation. Like I said, if the soil gets saturated, say by the release of water from the Lagdo Dam, even moderate amounts of rainfall could constitute danger.
Well, thank you very much. That's how much time we have for now. For joining us on News at 10, we have been with Mr. Anthony Anuforum, Director General of NIMET. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's over to you, Bimbo.
Thanks very much, Gloria. President Muhammadu Buhari has asked all federal government agencies to harmonize the collection and use of biometric information rather than duplicate each other's efforts. The president said this after the chairman of the National Population Commission, Eze Duru, SAN, briefed him on what would be required to conduct a national census next year, 10 years after the last exercise. He wondered why each agency would separately gather its own biometric data when they could easily obtain the information from a related agency. The president said, quote, "It will be more cost-effective if you work together. It helps even the credibility of the election process, as Nigerians of voting age can be identified easily." End of quote. Government organizations that currently collect biometric data include the National Population Commission, National Identity Management Commission, Federal Road Safety Commission, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, among others. The chairman of the MPC says the exercise will cost 273 billion naira. The president continues to crack down on terrorism and corruption. As regards the latter, President Buhari is putting the Ministry of Finance under pressure to explain how the foreign loans obtained for rail projects were used. This came after the president discovered that the foreign loans in question were moved from one project to another. Out of over $1 billion, which formed a substantial part of the loan from the Chinese Exim Bank, only $400 million remains with the Ministry of Finance. During the meeting, which held at the presidential villa, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Transport seized the opportunity to brief the president on the other challenges being faced by the transport and maritime sectors, which range from encroachment on railway land to lack of security on inland waterways. There was no word on how the president responded. When on Sunday, President Muhammadu Buhari ordered federal ministries and agencies, the Central Bank of Nigeria, NIMASA, NPA, FAN, NCAA, among others, to operate a treasury single account, the feeling was mixed. While the news was applauded by most Nigerians, the banks called for caution, arguing that this may create liquidity squeeze. Now, the CEO of Economic Associates was on Channels Television recently, where he proposed the Treasury single account as the best option for Nigeria. And he'll be joining me shortly to discuss this matter further. When the news at 10 returns, we'll hold our discussion, and WAEC releases results for May-June 2015. Do join us again.